Hey guys, welcome to Shep Talk and my review of Tron. Directed by Steven Lisberger, starring Jeff Bridges as Kevin Flynn, Bruce Boxleitner as Alan, David Warner as Ed Dillinger, Sydney Morgan as Laura. Tron has a runtime of 1 hour and 36 minutes. Story. A computer hacker, Flynn, gets digitized into a computer system where he's forced to survive gladiatorial games. His only shot at escaping the system? Teaming up with a heroic security program named Tron to fight back against a tyrannical master control program named MCP. With Tron Ares just around the corner, I figured it was time for a Tron rewatch marathon. Not that I needed an excuse. I've been a fan since the 80s and have lost count of how many times I've revisited these movies. Here's what newcomers need to understand though. Tron was revolutionary. Even in the 80s, the CGI was pushing limits in ways no one had dared to before. Sure, by today's standard, it definitely looks primitive. But back then, they were doing things people thought were impossible, bringing audiences into a computer world. Light cycle battles, recognizers, the neon line costumes, these visuals were groundbreaking. It's easy to forget how risky this film was, taking viewers into a stylized digital realm where programs worship users like gods, while the MCP tries to install itself as the new ruler. Actors. Jeff Bridges as Flynn. Jeff Bridges as Flynn. This movie lives and dies on Jeff Bridges' shoulders. He nails the role of that scrappy, sarcastic programmer who got shafted by the company he helped build. His energy makes Flynn iconic, which is why he keeps popping up in the sequels. Bruce Boxleitner as Alan/Tron. Bruce brings a solid, heroic vibe to Tron. He's that moral compass of the movie, embodying that classic good guy energy that complements Flynn's rebellious nature. David Warner as Ed Dillinger/Sark/MCP voice. David Warner is that go-to guy for suave villains, and he brings that cold, corporate menace as Dillinger. His dual role as Sark in the digital world is imposing, even if the MCP showdown doesn't quite hit as hard as it should. Cindy Morgan as Laura and Yori. Cindy brings warmth to a movie that's very tech heavy. She doesn't get as much screen time as I would have liked, but she makes an impression, especially as Yori inside the system. Action. This isn't a wall-to-wall action flick, but when it delivers, it's memorable. The light cycle battles are legendary, even decades later. The disc wars? Still cool. Even though it's not packed with action, the scenes we get hit that adrenaline button hard. Cinematography. Look, I will admit, it's dated. Absolutely. But in 1982, nobody had ever seen a movie that looked like this. The grid environments, the glowing circuits line costume, the digital vehicles, it created a visual language for cyberspace that still influences movies today. Soundtrack. The Tron series is as much about its music as it is its visuals. Wendy Carlos laid the foundation with her synth-heavy electronic score that perfectly complements the digital aesthetic. The soundtrack doesn't overshadow the film, but it does seep into your brain and stays with you long after the credits roll. Now, onto some of my nitpicks. Story simplicity. The story isn't breaking new ground here. It's a pretty straightforward, hero gets wronged, seeks justice, gets the... This story isn't breaking any new ground. It's pretty straightforward. Hero gets wrong, hero seeks justice. That's the plot. What elevates it is the world it's set in. Without the digital realm, this would be a forgettable tale. Costumes. Even for the 1980s, the costumes feel like the weakest part of the visual design. They get the job done, but you can tell they were struggling with how to bring that digital armor to life on a limited budget. That MCP climax. For all the build-up, the showdown with the MCP feels underwhelming. It's like they spent all their budget on the light cycles and recognizers, then scrambled to come up with a finale that wouldn't bankrupt production. Overall, Tron isn't perfect. The story's simple, and the effects are definitely showing their age. But what makes Tron a cult classic is its boldness. It imagined a digital world in a way no film had before. It's a movie for tech lovers, visual effects geeks, and anyone who appreciates cinema that takes risks. If you can embrace its dated charm, it's an essential watch before Tron airs. But with all that being said though, Shep Talk gives Tron 4 Sheps out of 5. Hey, thank you guys for joining me on this review. But if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And be sure to check out these other reviews here. I'm sure you'll find something else to love. But guys, that's all I got time for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the next review.